The legacy of John Adams, from Boston to Guantanamo. John Adams was the second president of the United States.
He was a lawyer, a patriot, and a humanitarian.
The ideas of liberty and justice were not just words to John Adams.
They were the principles upon which a nation could be built and people could live in true freedom.
In March of 1770, the growing tension between American colonists and British soldiers occupying Boston erupted in a confrontation that became known as the Boston Massacre.
British soldiers opened fire on the crowd of angry colonists, killing 5 men. The British soldiers were charged with manslaughter and stood trial in Boston. When no one would come forward to defend the soldiers at trial, John Adams agreed to represent them.
During the trial, John Adams said, "Whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passion, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence." He did not represent the soldiers because he believed they were innocent. He represented the soldiers because he believed in their right to defend themselves in a court of law, their right to due process of law.
In the wake of Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in December of 1941, our nation was thrust into war and united in defense of democracy. In the interest of national security, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed United States Executive Order 9066, authorizing the relocation of Japanese Americans to internment camps.
American citizens whose only offense was their ethnic heritage were imprisoned to preserve national security.
Our fear and the dictates of our passion for liberty blinded us to the facts and evidence. John Adams taught us that acting in the name of liberty and justice is not enough.
We must adhere to the principles of liberty and justice. On November 21, 1989, President George W. Bush signed a bill authorizing surviving Japanese internees to receive a letter of apology from the United States government.
On September 11, 2001, we all lived through the horror of the terrorist attacks against our country.
In the aftermath of that tragic day, there was a swell of patriotism that once again united the nation and a vow from our government to punish those responsible for the attacks. In the name of national security and the fight against terrorism, our government established the Guantanamo Bay detainment facility located in Cuba.
The purpose of this facility was to hold and interrogate detainees from the war against terrorism to preserve national security. And once again, our fear and the dictates of our passions for liberty blinded us to the facts and evidence.
In the name of John Adams, the American Civil Liberties Union and the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers established the John Adams Project to reflect our country's commitment to justice and secure due process for those imprisoned at Guantanamo Bay Detainment Facility. On November 13, 2009, the U.S. Justice Department announcement that all cases against detainees will be transferred to federal court, ensuing due process for the accused.
These are examples in our country's history where the passion for our liberty caused us to ignore our belief in liberty of all.
But believe the legacy of John Adams is that all people are created equal.
That they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.